Well, hey, everybody. It is Kyle, and here I am. It took me an extra week. Sorry about that. About a week late on this episode, but that's kind of what the topic of this episode is about. The topic is going to be the continuing burnout feeling I've been having as far as the business goes. And not everything. Of course, it's great to sell things, but haven't sourced anything, haven't really listed anything too much, other than, relisting or selling similar. But yeah, so, that's what we're going to talk about. I'll be back with you guys here just in a few moments, and we'll talk about the burnout situation and the 3 lowest profit sales and the top 5 highest profit sales. Be right back. So we're back. Okay, so yeah, the burnout is still here. It's still going on. I really have not listed anything in ages, other than taking and, relisting things. So the way I do that, I don't just allow eBay to relist, because what I've heard is if you actually end the listing, and then it'll show up in your unsold. You go through and you select the ones you want to sell similar. Once you got those selected, you click sell similar, and then it keeps the same information, the listing and all that stuff. You can go and make any changes you want to, but when you do that to all those items, or one item, or whatever it is, however many you're doing, and you hit submit, then what it does is that item shows up as a brand new item on eBay. And I've heard multiple people say this is the way to go. And I can tell you, since doing it, it has improved my sales. So that's how I do it. And then I just go into the unsold after I'm done with all the listings, and make sure there's none in there that I missed or anything like that. But if they're all just ones that I recreated with sell similar, I go ahead and select them all and delete them. So that's what I do. Now, that does take a little time. I mean, some days there's 1 or 2 items. Some days there's 43 items that have to be done. But you can kind of do them in bulk edit, so it's not too difficult. So I do that still. The other thing that I'm still doing is, basically just handling sales and stuff like that, handling that sort of thing, answering questions, those sorts of things, shipping things out. But yeah, I mean, there has been some great sales, and really my intention was to just let this run its course, because I've found that in situations like this, if I have, when I was working on scripts or writing anything, whether it be for work or for on my own, the way I've found it is the harder you try to make it happen, the less it's going to happen. That's just my personal way. It's not for everybody, but that's how I do it. So in this particular situation, we're fine. We've got nearly 500 items still up for sale, and they're selling. So I'll get back to it. I'm going to plan on getting back to it maybe even later this weekend coming up, getting some pictures taken, getting some new things listed that we haven't had before, and all that, and just kind of resuming where things were. But in the meantime, things are still selling, things are still happening. So let me talk about the 3 lowest profit sales that we've had over the past, really, 3 weeks. I think September 24th was the last episode, and this will drop on October 15th. So yeah, 3 weeks. Okay. The lowest profit sales. Okay. So I'm going to start from the one out of these 3 that has the most profit, and we'll go down to the lowest profit overall. The first one would be a puzzle called The Prodigal. I picked this thing up for pretty cheap, if I remember correctly. Maybe, I want to say something crazy like 83 cents. And I believe, let me double check this real quick, but that thing may have been brand spanking new. It was. Yeah, brand new, sealed puzzle, The Prodigal. Ron DeCanny is the creator of it. 500-piece jigsaw puzzle. Got it for 83 cents. Anyway, sold it for $25.99, which sounds great, right? But really what got me on this one was the free shipping. The free shipping ended up costing quite a bit because it's not a small item. And, between that and the transaction fees, and the ad fee, because I always do 3% ad fee on these, I ended up, by the time all was said and done, I only walked away with $10.38, which doesn't sound horrible, but it sucked. $10.83 or 38 cents is not where we want to be. The typical deal, guys. We want to try and walk away with $20 no matter what it is we're selling. So, puzzles, they're tricky. I honestly feel like if I find a puzzle and it's going to sell for less than $30, I'm not going to buy it, no matter what it costs. Just simply because $10 almost, not quite, will be for shipping depending on where it's going. So, probably even needed to kick that up to about $35. So unless I find a puzzle that's selling for $35 and it is selling, probably not going to buy too many more puzzles because I got plenty of them and they're not moving. So there's that. Let's see. The next lowest profit would be these Tommy Hilfiger sneakers. They're white tennis shoes. Tommy Hilfiger, they got a gold little emblem up on the shoelaces in the front and the middle. And they got the Tommy Hilfiger text on the sides. They're sharp looking shoes, man. No two ways about it. And I think I ended up paying like $2 for those when I found them, which isn't bad. And I think I screwed this up actually because for some strange reason, I sold these for $22. I'm not really sure why. I believe they were marked up to $35 or something. So I think I messed something up with the offer and didn't do it right. But regardless, they sold for $22 and we ended up walking away with $9.65. Again, shipping got me on there along with my own mistake. But yeah, I just, shoes too, man. Got to be real picky on those. They don't cost a whole lot to ship. And, there's going to be more shoes here in this podcast that I'm going to be talking about in this episode. But yeah, in general, unless they're really something special, I'm kind of staying away from shoes, man. And then the least amount of profit, the lowest profit sale over the last 3 weeks, definitely would have to be another category that I'm leery of from here on out. It is a WWE trivia board game. Actually, I think this one is the one that costs 83 cents, if I remember correctly. Let me see here. Oh, $1.50 on this one. Yeah, board games are interesting too. If they're open, probably just going to stay away from them altogether. But even if they're open and guaranteed complete, they're going to have to sell for at least $35, $40 for me to do it anymore. And I got a lot of board games, man. A lot of really cool ones that just aren't moving. Sold this one for $21.99, but ended up walking away with only $8.83. So still, it's a profit. We made our money back, obviously, and then we made some money on top of that, but it's just not where we want to be. I believe all three of these things initially, well, except for the Tommy Hilfiger sneakers, I think I found those later, but the other two things were found by us early on when we were doing a lot of thrift store work and before garage sales. So, they're kind of mistakes, but they still made a little bit of a profit, so I can't be too upset about it, right? I guess I can, but who cares? All right. So, yeah, this burnout, it's been heavy. It's like we got so many things going on. I just don't feel the drive, the gumption to keep on keeping on and just blasting out more listings. As a matter of fact, I think we had like 490 or 489, 400, no, it was 490 something active listings. We're down to 466. So I've kind of let it dwindle a little bit, which is fine. We've still got a lot of great stuff for sale on there, a lot of good products. But short of maintenance, I haven't been doing a whole lot with it. Like I said, the sell similar situation, again, the way I do that, if I have a bunch of items on my eBay seller hub, under the area where it says auctions ending, or I'm sorry, not auctions ending today, I apologize, but buy it now renewing today, okay, because they'll renew your listing. There'll be a number there. Right now mine says 0, but I think this morning it said 7. So what you do is you click on that, you go in, you take a look at those items, and if you want to just resell all those items, what I do is I select all of them, and then I go up to the top in the menu system and I click in listings. And so what that does is it puts them over in another category in your listings that are called unsold or unsold and not relisted. Okay. And then what I do is I go in there, select them all in there, and then I click a button up at the top that says sell similar. What this does is it creates a new listing for that item. Now, it still populates all the information and the photos and all that jazz with what you had. But you can go in and change anything you want to. And then you just go through the list that way. Once you've got everything where you want, and sometimes I go through it and there's nothing I want to change or mess with. So I just select them all and hit, submit. What that does is it creates, like this morning, I created 7 new listings based upon the old ones. And then I went back to my unsold after I was done with that. And I chose those 7 listings and just deleted them because you've already got new listings for those items. What that does is it looks like a new product out there instead of an old product. New products come to the attention of buyers quicker. Those old products that have been around for 100 and some days, they're not going to be popping up first thing. It's going to be popping up something new that might be the same thing or similar to what you're selling. So that's why I do that. Okay. And I've seen a lot of different people do it that way. Some people insist it makes no difference. I can tell you for me, it has made a difference. So it's up to you what you want to do, but that's what I do. And then the other things I've been doing as far as maintenance goes is just handling inquiries from potential buyers, answering their questions, stuff like that. Every day I also do, I do send offers. So anytime something pops up throughout the day that says, you can send an offer, this is eligible to send an offer on this item, I will go in and come up with some sort of, sometimes it might only be 5% off, because it is free shipping. And so what I'll do is send an offer with that amount off, percentage, or a sale price, or so many dollars off. And then in the note, I'll say, hey, here's your chance to get this item at a better price and with shipping included, if shipping's included on it. And that goes out and it goes directly into the buyers, whoever's looked at it or watched your item or whatever, it goes into their mailbox, and then they can choose to ignore it or whatever they want to do. But I do get sales from it sometimes. Not always, but sometimes I do. So it's worth my time. And then I'm also just handling the sales and the shipping for these things that have been selling. Like I said, we have still been selling things. I just haven't been listing any new things. So let me get right into the top 5 sales. This episode won't be super long because, I'm just going to go through it in this fashion, and we'll see how that works. The top 5 profit sales, so the highest profit items, the top 5 of them. Number 1 is one I'm really glad to let go. I found this iPod Touch 2nd generation. Wow. It was at a thrift store, actually. I think I didn't pay very much for that. Let me see. I'm trying to remember what I paid for that thing. Hold on just a second. I'll take a look. But I didn't pay a whole lot for it. Yeah, $15. And it works. It works perfectly. When I saw it, I started it up. It worked. I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to fix it up. And I'm going to sell it because these things sell. I was looking at how often they sell and how many were up for sale. And it made sense. I mean, it wasn't going to go away in a day or two, but it did go away pretty quickly. I mean, I want to say, when did I buy that thing? Let me take a look here real quick. Yeah, I purchased that thing back in May. Okay. And it ended up selling. It's not that great. It sold about 4 months later. But it is one of my top 5 profit items here. So, so what I ended up selling it for, $69.99. It had a bunch of music on it already, so I didn't mess with that. I left it on there. I just erased any personal information that was on there and stuff, and sold it as is. And like I said, it worked perfectly. I tested it, connecting it to iTunes, connected to computers, all that stuff worked perfectly. Plays video, all that jazz. I ended up selling for $69.99 to someone who needed a little bit of help technically to figure out how they were going to use it and all that stuff. And they kind of wanted to know what music was on there. And I said, well, I'm not selling the music. This music is on here, but this is what's on there. Anyway, ended up walking away with $41.89. So didn't set the world on fire, but pretty darn good profit, even if it took about 4 months to sell it. The next highest profit item would be the Sony HD Bloggy camera. Okay. Sold that one for $67.49. Now, this camera was actually one of my personal cameras. I have had it for years. I bought it when little direct media recording cameras just came out. So before that, it was either videotape or DVDs or something. This is one of the first ones that Sony sold, and it was specifically for video blogs or blogging or vlogging, that actually just took a memory card. And so I remember actually finding that thing on sale at Micro Center here in Kansas City and driving over there to pick it up because it was an open box. And I really don't remember what I paid for, but it wasn't very much at the time. And again, this thing is like 7, 8, maybe even 10 years old. But I sold it for $67.49. And then after fees and shipping and everything, ended up making $52.35. So not a bad deal at all. Definitely worth my time. The next highest profit item is an Illy espresso machine. Now you're probably thinking, holy crap, dude, trying to ship that. Oh my God. Yeah, it wasn't super cheap to ship, but it also wasn't quite as high as you might think it would be. It actually wasn't that bad at all. I bought this item for $3. I bought it at a church garage sale. It was they were doing this church garage sale for Boy Scouts, for a Boy Scout troop. So that was kind of cool. But I got there early, got in on that sale, found a bunch of different stuff. Some stuff I haven't even had up for sale yet, but I did sell a disc changer not that long ago. I told you guys about. I got that there too. But this item, it's an interesting espresso machine because it's not, it looks really cool. And all these pictures will be in the notes too if you want to go take a look at them. But it looks really cool. It is bright red. It's got the chrome on it. It's got pretty much everything you need. It is a special Illy version, so it doesn't have maybe quite as it's not quite as easy because it's intended for specific capsules that Illy makes, and so you have to. And I put that in the note in the features. I said, Hyper Espresso Capsule System. Use Illy's proprietary Hyper Espresso capsules for simple and mess-free brewing. So yeah, you just put it in the deal, and boom, you create an espresso. So I came close to selling it before, but I ended up selling it for $149, $149.99, so $150 basically. And like I said, paid $3 for it. So even after shipping, and I got a little extra shipping, I paid a little bit extra for shipping so that, two things. First of all, I shipped it through FedEx. I started doing that a little bit because I've noticed their ground shipping is cheaper a lot of times than USPS. Plus, it was a pretty good sized box. It had a lot of stuff in it. So I ended up shipping it through FedEx, and I ended up paying just a little bit more for some extra insurance, so it covered the full value of the sale. right? So if something were to happen, everybody gets everything back, including me. But I sold it for $149.99, and we made $98.27 is what we walked away with. So pretty good return on investment there. All right, the next highest return on investment or profit made would be a pair of Converse knee highs, the gray strapped ones. Interesting on these too. Had a guy that was really close to these around Labor Day weekend. And he wanted to buy them for his daughter for a birthday party. But man, I've been over backwards for this guy to get him to buy these. And even to drop the price way down to just a little bit above $200 because they were $279.99 is what I had them listed as. Very, very, very competitive price because these, first of all, these aren't made anymore. Okay. And then second, they're brand new in the box. They've never been worn before. They're brand new. So couldn't really see bringing them down much more than that. But these are a pair of shoes that I got from my source that I used to travel to. I traveled up there 3 weekends in a row, about a little over an hour each way. But this one sale paid for all the times I went up there and all the money I paid this person for their products. So everything after this sale that's from that situation is pure gravy. So pretty cool. Sold them for $279.99, and after shipping, which is crazy because also I had just made offers on them. I've noticed this. Sometimes when you make an offer, you might get somebody asking you, "Oh, can you go any lower?" or something, question like that or whatever. And the next thing you know, someone will buy it for full price they didn't get the offer. So they're just happen across it and they're like, "Oh, I want those," and they buy it. I think that happened with the espresso machine too. I'm positive it did. Anyway, sold these for $279.99, walked away with $218.96 just from that sale. So easily got back everything that I ever spent going up there on those weekend trips, and really almost, I think, including gas. So that's pretty good. And then the highest profit item that's sold over the past few weeks is another pair of the Converse knee highs. These are the black ones that are strapped, and they have some studs on the straps. They're the original item that I drove up to meet that person for. The first time I drove up there, I only picked up this and maybe one or two other things. And I drove all the way up there and did it because these were $15. All of these tennis shoes that I bought from this person, and most of the shoes, everything was only $15 each. So these black ones, these Converse Chuck Taylor All-Star black studded knee-high lace-ups. That's what they are. Very rare, no longer made. Same thing, brand new in the box. Sold them for $349.99. And then even after shipping and everything, walked away with $283.71. So great profit. I'm so happy. Some of those things from her finally sold, the lady that I bought all this stuff from, because I was starting to think, oh no. And look, they're small. They're very small size. These are like size 6 women's. So they're not huge. But I figured somebody out there somewhere would want them, and I was correct. And those were competitively priced too. I've seen those same exact black strap studded ones for $700 on eBay. So pretty good deal on that. And I think both of those, let me double check here real quick, but I think both of those Converse, yeah, I got those way back on, let me see what the black ones look like. I got those way back in the middle of July. Middle to the end of July is when I listed them. So, it took a couple months, but hey, man, they sold, and they made me a buttload of money. Between those two sales right there is about $500 in profit over the last 3 weeks. So you take that, you add that espresso machine, there's $600. You add that camera, you add the iPod Touch, $700 profit over the last 3 weeks. There's more than that. We've made more than that in profit over the last 3 weeks because in the last 3 weeks we have had 20 sales. So other things have made money too. I would say altogether, just kind of looking over the last month and just kind of looking at, the stats on eBay and everything. It's saying over the last 31 days, we've sold $1,969.86. So $2,000 in sales, basically. Pretty good, and when you figure on average, we're making around 60% of that, maybe a little bit more. Obviously for those tennis shoes, a lot more. That's pretty good profit. And it's the way I look at it is it handles itself. Once you get the business to a certain spot, it handles itself. And, burnout is going to happen, right? So you just got to fight through it. You got to figure out what works for you and how you want to handle it. And you just got to take care of it because, it's going to be there. It's going to exist, guys. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to happen. So that's kind of what I did. But then also this was kind of a little experiment in the back of my mind just to see how the store works itself and it sells things on its own without me interfering too much and constantly putting up new items. And to be honest with you, it's been a pretty profitable month or so, based on these sales and everything. We've done really well. We haven't sold anything for a loss yet, which is a miracle. We've been doing this since last November, and yeah, we haven't. It's almost a year coming up here pretty soon, and we haven't sold anything for a loss yet. So that's pretty good. We have bought some items that we didn't notice some things about them that were broken or damaged somehow. Those are a loss, but in general, everything that we've sold, we've made money on. So that's pretty good. I mean, there are a few items that were like $2 or less, but hey, it's still, you're getting your money back and you're making something. So can't complain really. So the store can run itself. The store can work on its own really without me putting too much work into it and me taking a little break, which has been great. So it does work that way. That's originally what I wanted to happen. And so it's good to see that it actually can. And yeah, this burnout is nearing its end. We still have a lot of stuff to do outside, getting ready for fall and winter. So I don't know how much I'll be working on this coming weekend, but before long, I'll be putting up new things again. So not too bad. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you guys listening. Keep on keeping on. Pass this around if you know anyone that's into reselling. If you have any questions or whatever, you can get a hold of me through, if you hit the link to go to the main Spotify deal, the Spotify creators. If you go to the Hawkpick site on there, I got 5 Spotify followers. Wow, that's not bad at all. Had some really good numbers lately, so that's pretty awesome. Anyway, regardless, if you go there and you take a look at that, you can get a hold of me. So you can reach out to me through there. If you can't find me on there, Hawkman's Goods is on Facebook. Hawkman's Goods is on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and then also there is the Hawkman's Goods store, which is on eBay. So all those links will be in the notes too, so you can check that out if you need to. But yeah, pretty great. Everything's been going pretty good, and I'm going to get back to it soon. I just needed some serious time off. And if you've been a reseller, you know what I'm talking about. So thanks again, guys, for listening. I appreciate it. Keep on keeping on. Keep on going through that grind. It is fourth quarter numbers. So I'm enjoying that. I hope you are too. And I will talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Thanks.